All right, we have just 2 minutes till I call in Dr. Sofian. So drop your names and where you're joining us from in the chat section. Give us your best emoji. I'm ready. I'm waiting for your responses. James Joseph from Ghana. Welcome, welcome, welcome to have you here. I'm so glad to have you here for the second to the last research masterclass session. So, can you tell us about your experiences so far, your expectations for today? We are so glad to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. So it's 1 minute now. Dr. Sofian, we are ready for this wonderful masterclass session once again. So the floor is yours, Dr. Sofian. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Olasua. Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Hello again. So it's another research masterclass. So I hope that you already enjoyed the previous research masterclass sessions. So today we are going to cover an important part in an important section in the research masterclass, which is the, let's say, the mirror of your article. So this section is considered as the most part that can or the readers read while doing the research. Is the part that concerns most of the let's say the researchers. Okay, so what we are going to do today is to cover and highlight the most important parts that should be present within each introduction. So I'm going to share my screen, but before that, I'm going to talk a little bit about your submissions. So I've received your submissions regarding the research masterclass session, or last research masterclass session. So I've got approximately, I think, 17 submissions, and in general it's good. So you already respected what I told you last session, so it's good for the first time. But of course I will review that with you, and we'll do some revisions, but I will wait until the end of this research masterclass, so you can send me the whole paper, okay, and take into consideration the remarks and the things that you need to enhance. And after that, for example, for this session, you are going to study how to write the introduction, and we still have only one session to go. It's about the last part, the abstract and the conclusion. And after that, of course, I will review the whole paper with you. Okay. So in this, as I said, just a reminder. So the goal is always how to write a research paper at the end of this research masterclass. So the agenda, just a reminder. So this is the 6th week. Okay. So we're going now to know and to study how to write the introduction section. As I said, it's in a really important section. So as I said in the first sessions, so we've got questions why we shouldn't start by the introduction section, why exactly the methodology or the results in discussion. So to know exactly what to put in the introduction, we need to cover and to have a vision on the whole paper. Okay, so now we already have a vision about what we have on the methodology section and what we have and the results and discussion. Now it's easy for us to go and write the introduction, and you will see in this research masterclass how these sections will help will help us to write the introduction. It's going to be easy to write it with a precise let's say with precise ideas and precise lines. Okay, so this session, as I said, is for the introduction. In the next session, and it will be the last session, it's going to be for the abstract and the conclusion sections. Okay, so just to a reminder for the people who joined for the first time. So academic literacy or writing reading academics, it's all about reading and writing in proficiently with English, with formal English. Okay, so in general, we said that the academic paper is divided into 6 parts: the abstract, the introduction, the related works. We can, for example, combine the related work in the introduction into only one section: the methodology, of course, the results, and also the results and discussion, as we said the last session, and of course the conclusion. So for the second week, we defined our topic, and also we defined our research question. So this is for everyone. So we said that we need to come with a general idea, with the general domain. After that, we need to select a topic, and after that we need to specify, okay, that topic by writing a research topic, okay, by describing with more words. And after that, we need to transform that research topic into a question. Okay, so that is by after we can uh, answer that question while doing research. Okay, so this is the general idea of the week 2. And also we've seen the difference between a conference paper and a journal paper, and we say that a conference paper is in general is a short version of a journal paper. And we say that a survey paper, we in a survey paper we compare different methods. Okay, in a research paper we propose a new method or a new methodology. Okay, and we write it in a form of e-paper. Okay, and also we presented some databases where to find some articles, and we cited here Scopus and Web of Science and Science Direct and some other databases. Okay, so in the week 3 we've seen how to start writing, or what the things to do before start writing the research paper. And we said that yes, we can, for example, start by writing in Word files. Okay, and after that we'll gather and put this part together in order to write the whole paper in the LaTeX form. And we are going to see this step in the next week, how to write the whole paper using LaTeX. And also I will share with you a template that it's a general template that you can use for any conference or any other journal in order to publish it. Okay, and also we've seen how to paraphrase some paragraphs, okay, by using a technique that I cited that technique. It was by using the deepl.com website. So we are going to translate, for example, the paragraph from French or from English into another language and reverse the translation. So it's a technique that you can use. And also by hovering over each word, you can, for example, get a list of synonyms, and you can use some of these synonyms in order to write a brand new paragraph. So in the week 4, we've seen how to write a methodology section for both the survey paper and the research paper. In the week 5, it was last week, so we've seen how to write the results and discussion for both the research article and the survey paper. Now what we are going to do is exactly how to write an introduction section in general. Okay, because here it's approximately the same thing for both the surveys and also the research papers. So we can do the same thing, okay, and we've changed just one paragraph or two paragraphs in the at the end of each introduction section. Okay, so I'll start with some generalities. Okay, so in general, the introduction section, of course, come after the abstract. It's the second part and the second section that comes after the abstract section, okay, in any article. So introduction section should provide the reader, okay, with a brief overview of the topic, okay, and also the reason of conducting the research. Okay, so we start by putting here the general idea why we are writing this paper. Okay, so we will provide that just to gain the interest, okay, of each and attract the interest of the readers. So the abstract or the introduction is a perfect place to set, okay, the scene and make a good first impression. So as I say, always the introduction is the mirror of your paper. So if you have a good introduction, you can easily gain citations, you can easily gain um, positive reviews if we are talking about reviewers, okay, who can review your paper. So it's in general the most readable part of your article, okay. So in general here, reading word count, okay, introduction typically occupies approximately 10 to 15% of your paper, okay. So just an example, if you have a paper with a word count of 3000, then you should aim for an introduction of approximately 600 words, okay. So let's say it's an important part of your research paper, and you better write it with the attention, okay, and put all your efforts writing this. This is why we the introduction at the end of the writing papers in general methodology, okay. So as I said, it is often recommended that the introduction section of the paper is written after finishing the other sections of the paper. This is because, of course, it is difficult to figure out what exactly to put in the introduction section of the paper until you have seen the big picture. So you need the big picture before proceeding writing the paper. Okay, so in general, in the introduction, you have to 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 let's say to give the readers, okay, the whole idea of the research paper, or the not it's not the summary but the whole idea by only reading the paper. As if you remember in the first and second sessions of the research masterclass sessions, when I was talking about summarizing papers, what if you remember what exactly I told you? So I told you to just take the final part of each introduction, okay? The part that starts exactly with the aim of this paper, the aim of this work, the goal of this work, if you remember that. So that was the most important part of each research paper. So now, after reading that, you need to do the same thing. Okay, so we're going to do and to say to have the same thing. Okay, good. So uh, the introduction section in general of your research paper should include the following. Okay, the first one, you should start with a general introduction. Always you need to start with general. We are not, it's not a good idea to start with a specific term. We need to start from general, okay, and after that we'll getting more specific until arriving to the methodology. Okay, then we need to present the problem. We need to define the problem that we are dealing with. Okay. After that, of course, we've read a lot of papers and we will find a gap. Okay, so it's called gaps in the literature. Okay, so we read a lot of papers and we, let's say, we notice that there is something missing there and we are treating that part. Okay, so it's called gaps in the literature. Okay, after that, of course, we'll come with a solution. Okay, so we need to present that solution. What's new? What's our contribution? Okay, and of course, before coming with a solution, of course, we've been motivated by something. Okay, something by, let's say, a hypothesis or something like that. So we need to put that. We need to put the motivation of the research paper. Now, after that, we need to give the aims, the goals, and the objectives of the research paper. We need to highlight them, okay, with a clear objectives. And of course, after having results, here we can say that we can present significance and advantages of this work. We need to highlight that why this work is important. So we will, of course, before present the objectives, and now we need to present, okay, the advantage of this the work. Okay, so let's start by the general introduction. As we did last session, we'll do now the same thing. Okay, I would just give you some general phrases that you can start your research with. For example, and this is the most common one in the past several decades, in the past few years, and something like that. Nowadays, something like that. Okay, a problem, for example, sentiment analysis. Okay, or let's say artificial intelligence or pattern recognition, something like that, have played an important role in what, for example, in computer science, in I don't know, so it depends. So this is the general one, and you will find this templates in every paper. We have other ones, for example, there are growing appeals for something. Okay, and we have, for example, this is the field of study that deals with. We can combine this templates or these phrases, we can combine them to write the general introduction, and we'll do that after in just before in this research masterclass we'll do a demonstration. Okay, for example, most of the theories, most of the methods, most of the studies, okay, so of something are, however, focused on explaining that. For example, just this is just some example. There are three major theoretical and conceptual frameworks for something. The field has gradually broadened as this field of study is sometimes referred as, for example, this has been widely adopted in the field of something, just in general form. Okay, so this is just the general form. Now we need to, as I said, we need to define the problem. Okay, so we can define the problem as you can see. So this seems to be a common problem in computer science, in natural language processing, in medicine, in chemistry, or something like that. This leads to myriad problems in, I don't know, it depends on your domain. The main problem is that, so this is the two, it's simplest one. The main problem is that something like that, okay? There is a further problem with one primary problem with this is that, okay, the methods are not without their problems, as we'll discuss. Okay, the foremost problem are the facts that, okay, please ensure that you are unmuted. Okay, this seems to be a common problem in, okay, the third one, now the gaps literature. So as I said, we've studied a lot of papers, a lot of works, and now we need to present why we need to do this. So they have something missing. Okay, this is for example, we can use this for either the survey papers or for research paper. For example, there is no previous research using Arabic language in sentiment analysis, something like that. Okay, just you need to highlight this. Okay, as far as we know, no previous research has investigated that. There has been less previous evidence for. Other studies have failed to our knowledge, or to the best of our knowledge. No study has yielded, or no study has covered, or some. Okay, so just something like that. No study to date has examined. Okay, only a few studies have shown that. However, something has rarely been studied directly. Moreover, few studies have focused on. Okay, in particular, no study to our knowledge, to the best of our knowledge, has considered that. Okay, now after presenting the limitation, okay, of the existing methods, we need to present the solution to that problem. Okay, for example, one way to overcome these problems is to combine two methods or something like that. There are many alternatives methods that are available for solving these problems. In order to rectify the problem of overfitting, we need to, for example, to have more data. Okay, a solution to this problem is proposed in. We can cite this article, but it was a time-consuming method, and our method is better in that. Okay, one approach to solve this problem involves the use of deep neural network or something like that, or regularization in hyperparameters of neural networks. An alternative approach to that problem is something that we'll present. This can be applied to solve these problems. Okay, and many others. Okay, now the motivation in general, it could came from the hypothesis or something that we observed. Okay, for example, it is of interest to know whether, okay, still hold true. Okay, so this is for the hypothesis. For example, it would be of special interest to. Okay, we therefore analyze. So this is after an analysis. Okay, and investigate whether, okay, whether, and of course with a hypothesis in the background. For this study, it was of interest to investigate something like that. We investigated whether, okay, can be explained, and so many other that you can use. Okay, here I presented a lot. Now the aims and the objectives, and we need to be here more specific with accurate and proficient phrases. Okay, the aim is to develop more sophisticated methods. For example, for something, the aim of this work. So now I know that you know this phrases, because when summarizing paper, you already you try to find these phrases and take the copy paste the paragraph that come after. The aims in this paper are twofold: first, second, third. Okay, for our first goal, we focused on two problems. Okay, the aim here is to investigate. The overall goal of this work was to, this project aimed to, this work aims to. So in general, we are using aim or the goal, or these words. Okay, but the aim is the most used one. The aim of the experiment is to compare. The ultimate goal is to produce. The overall goal is, okay, this article was to pursue, or something like that, and the other. Okay, now the after that we need to present the contributions. Now we presented, before that, the goal of the general idea and the general aim of the paper. Now we need to present the contributions. Okay, what's new technically. Okay, for example, this article documents several key contributions made to the field of computer science. This article has made a number of significant contributions to the field of. Okay, the contributions made here have wide applicability, for example, the contribution made should be of wide interest. The first main contribution proposed in the field is something, okay? The contributions of this work are presented as follows, as I said earlier, okay? The main achievements, including contributions to the field, can be summarized as follows. Okay, and so on. Okay, so this is a general idea, and now we are going to do something similar. I'm not going to write the whole introduction, but I'm going to show you how you can do that using this templates. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm going to share my whole screen so you can see that easily. Okay, I'm going to open a Word file. Good, good. So this is good. Okay, okay. I'm going to start with this. Okay. So in general, try to do something similar. Okay, come up with a Word file. Okay, and put the headlines. I'm not going to use these headlines in the introduction, but just for you in order to write easily the introduction. Okay, so for each part you should dedicate a percentage of words. Okay, for example, the general introduction should be 40% of your introduction. The problem definition, just 5%. The same for gaps literature, 5%. Problem solution, 10%. Study motivation, 10%. Aims and objectives, 15%. And significance and advantages of your work, also 15%. Okay, so this is too important. Just keep these percentages as they are. Okay, because it's really important. And for example, if you are going to write, let's say, let's say a conference paper, in general, conference paper are about between 4,000 to 6,000 words. So as I said, now to write the introduction should be a maximum of 15% of your research paper. So you should know the number of words. Okay, for example, if we will write, for example, this introduction with this percentage, so we are going to write only 600 words, which means that the general introduction should include approximately between 240 words. Okay, and let's start. Okay, I'm not going to write, of course, the 240 words for the general introduction, but I'm going to show you how I'm going to start that. Okay, for example, I will start with the first one. Okay, the first, let's say the first one is the most used one. Okay, so let's say that I'm going to use the same topic that I already presented, which is summarizing, let's say, Arabic news articles. So I have here natural language processing. Okay, just natural language processing. Good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this keywords and start doing that. Okay, for example, in the past, let's say just several years. Okay, so I'm going to talk about summarization. So summarization, let's say it's subfield of natural language processing. Okay, for example, summarization, okay, has played an important role in natural language processing. Just to note that the first time you use, for example, natural language processing, it's well known as NLP. So here I can say NLP, okay, and after that I can use NLP. Instead of natural language processing, I will use only NLP. Okay, good. For example, I'm going to use another one. Now I need to let's say to have a definition. I need to define, for example, what is natural language processing and what is summarization, because I start with general. I need to have the definition of the two to one. Okay, good. For example, I can take three measure the field as gradually broadening the field, sometimes referred. Okay, this one, for example, I can take this one. This field of study is sometimes referred as, for example, um, we can say, for example, natural language processing. We have, of course, sentiment analysis. We can say, for example, text mining. Okay, mining. For example, just this is just an example, just to show you how I can combine this ones. Okay, so for example, this field studies with. Here I can put this phrase. Okay, to give an introduction. What is sentiment analysis? This is the field of study that deals with, for example, text. So just a simple one, okay? And I can continue like that, okay? So here we need, for example, so I need to define the natural language processing and also the summarization. After that, okay, so I already have here approximately 70 words, okay? So, but an important thing you need to use here, you need to use a lot of citations, okay, a lot of citations. So try to grab from each paper a citation and put it here, okay, because the introduction is the most part that has um, more citations, okay, and try to use the latest citations, the latest articles, okay, the 3 years articles. So the oldest one should be an article of 2019, okay. Just try to do this technique, okay. For example, in the past years, summarization has played an important role in natural language processing. Okay, here I will put a citation, okay, one, and of course I will put the citation at the end of this introduction, okay, and I will continue like this. The field study, sometimes referred as text mining. I can use also another citation, okay. Just try to use a lot of citations here, okay. So this is really important. After that, yes, we can continue like that in general introduction. After that, I'm going to have a define a problem, okay. For example, for example, okay, the main problem is that, okay, the main problem is that, for example, summarization is used only for English and other, for example, Latin, for example, Latin languages. Okay, this is the problem. For example, it's not used in Arabic. Just an example, although it's widely used in Arabic, but this is just for an example. Okay. Um, okay, we can use also this one. Okay, this leads, for example, to myriad problems in uh, pre-processing. For example, pre-processing, uh, I'm talking about tokenization, lemmatization, and a lot of techniques, vectorization. Okay, let's say just this is that leads to dash problems. Okay, we can continue by sorry, this I will okay, this will be the main problem. Okay, for this one I will put it here. Okay, but for you, you will you need to combine all the paragraphs without using this headlines. Okay, this is just for. After that, I will pass to this is the problem, for example, and the gaps of literature. For example, I can use the first one. There is no previous research, for example, using Arabic in summarization, for example, approach. Just this is just for example. As far as we can also combine this two. Okay, and of course I will go to the problem solution. Okay, for example, if someone already used or propose a solution, we can use this one. Okay, For example, okay, a solution to this problem is proposed in, and I need to cite that article, okay, but I can use but, for example, but okay, I can use, for example, an alternative approach. This can be applied to solve these problems, okay, but this their approach, for example, let's say, doesn't, for example, not does not, for example, um, treat or treat, for example, Arabic, let's say Arabic dialects or something like that. Okay. Now we can. This is the problem solution. Okay, a solution to this problem is provided. However, for example, this work, this work propose a new method, for example, or approach to deal with Arabic dialects. Okay, we can use something like that. So as you can see, it's easy to write it, but you need to use the let's say the accurate words. You need to use the correct words. Okay. For example, for the study motivation, we can use, for example, this one. Okay, for this study, it was of interest to investigate Arabic dialects or something like that. Okay, just we need to write a motivation about this. Okay, now for the aims and the objectives. Okay, we can use any of this. Okay, for example, the aim of this paper is to present a new framework for natural NLP summarization in Arabic language, let's say, including its dialects, something like that. Okay. Okay, we can use another one. The aim, for example, or the goal, the overall goal of this work was to, let's say, adopt methods from NLP and English, let's say, language to the Arabic language or something like that. I'm just imagining what I'm writing. Okay. Now the final step and the final paragraph of the introduction is the presenting your contributions. We can say the contributions of this work, okay, are presented as follows. And we can say that this is the first one, contribution one, contribution two, etc. At the end of each introduction, you will find a template that describes what's next. Okay, let's say this paper is organized as follows. Okay, section, for example, two. For example, the next section presents, for example, the methodology. Okay, section. Okay, just a brief description of each section. Okay, and after that, of course, we will come with the whole introduction. But you need to have citations. It's really important. At least 20 citations. Okay, so it's the average between the research paper, let's say a journal paper, and a conference paper. Just at least 20 recent citations. Okay, so this is the general idea about how to write the let's say the introduction. Now you have material, you have everything. Okay, uh, you need now, you have 1 week. All you have to do is to write the introduction, And instead of sending only the introduction part, try to send the introduction, the methodology, and also the research or the results in discussion. Combine them and send them to me. So next week we will need to write only 2 paragraphs, the introduction or the abstract in the conclusion. Okay, thank you so much for your attention, and I hope that you enjoyed this session, and I would wait for your question. Thank you so much. Flashwa, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sufyan. Thank you for breaking down the introduction section. Like, I really enjoyed today's session. So, if you have any questions, I'll be expecting them in the chat section. So, I'll be expecting your questions for Dr. Sufyan in the chat section. We will definitely answer it. All right, I'm expecting your questions. Is it that we don't have any questions for Dr. Sufyan? He did explain it quite well. I'm expecting your questions if you have any. Any question or questions for Dr. Sufyan? Okay, how do we send the results and discussion with the methodology? That's one
So
question.
okay, so we will share. Okay, I think that's. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
you can hear me.
so yes, so we'll share a Google form, okay, a Google form, and uh, just send them in a Word file. Just we upload your file and send them in a Google form, okay?
Someone asked that, is this the only framework available or are there other formats?
Uh, I don't know what you mean exactly, but the framework I'm talking about, if you are talking about the framework of the paper, okay, the whole paper, which is the abstract, the conclusion, the results and discussion. So this part of this paper, it's the general concept, but you can find, for example, so for the science in general, in science it's the general framework, but you can find something specific for the other domains. So it depends on the domain, but it's the same idea. So if you have, for example, some articles or some journals that force you to instead of writing results in discussion or results in discussion in one section, so they are forcing you to separate this section. So it depends on the journals and depends on the field, but this is the whole idea and the general idea. Yes.
I think the person is trying to ask if there's probably another probably 50%, 40% breakdown they give to us. I think that's also the framework that is trying to also ask if you can also use that or are there other alternatives.
Sorry, Folashwa, I can't hear you very well.
Like that breakdown you gave us for the introduction, 40% for general introduction, 15%, 10%. Is that the only type of framework that we can follow if we want to write our introduction?
If you can just write the question, because I didn't get it well. I'm going to answer this question before
Okay.
writing your question.
Can
How
you
can
hear
I?
me now?
Yes, I can hear
Can
you.
you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Like the introduction framework that you gave us, 40% for general introduction, 15% for problem definition, those ones. I think the person is asking that, is that the only format that we can use in writing our introduction?
Yes, yes. It's not the only format, but it's let's say it's well used in the literature. It's the general. Uh, it's something that's used by all researchers. Okay, so just follow this, because now while reading papers, I find only that structure. Okay, and if you, for example, submit a paper to a journal, for example, that a different format, so maybe your paper is going to be rejected. because the reviewers are usually getting used to this format. Yes.
All right. Then another question here is there any difference between justification and significance of study?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Is there any difference between justification and significance of study? Justification and significance, any difference between the two?
Uh, we can consider it, we can consider them as one, but justification is so significance of study, it's we are showing the importance of study. Justification, so you are not showing the importance of study, but as you are arguing with someone and you need to give a justification. So I think this is the difference, but I think it's that. It's just
All right.
a terminology thing. Yes. Yes, Olashua.
The paper, since no new contribution is there.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
How can I put problem definition for a survey paper since no new contribution is there?
So it's this one is the easiest one, because we're doing a survey paper. You are doing in a new survey paper, and you are in general studying some different some, let's say, some old reviews, although it's 1 year old or something like that, but you are using something new. So the problem definition, you can say, for example, it's there is, for example, a lot of surveys, but they are old, and now we have different new methods, and this is a new survey that covers this. So you can use this problems definition as I say.
Right. Another question here is, for studies with limited publications in the last 3 years, can we extend our search to more than 3 years?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Right. Then I have another question from my own end. What if contributions have not been done for the past 3 years, and maybe the latest one is 2016? Can we include 2016, 2015, 2014
Yes,
as our citations?
Yes, of course, of course. So for the citations, it depends. For example, if you're talking about, let's say, computer vision in computer science, so it's unacceptable to put, let's say, and to compare your method or your proposed method with method of 2016. So it's unacceptable. But you can compare it with the method of, let's say, 2022, 2021, because you need always to compare your method with the latest method. And this is with the state of the art. When we say state of the art, we mean that the new method, that method that are the new method of the literature. So the new method could be in 2021 and also could be in 2010, for example. Okay, so it depends on the field.
Okay, someone is asking that, is it okay to propose a new methodology in a review paper?
To propose a new methodology in a review paper? This is the question?
Yes, a new methodology.
So in general, a review paper or something that you are reviewing something, okay? So when you are reviewing something, so you are comparing different methods. If, for example, you have another methodology, so it's going to be exactly a research paper, regular research paper. And for example, for the reviews of all these papers, you can put that in the related works, okay?
All right. Another question here is a newbie. Is asking if there are any tools or study tools for a starter in research.
Any tools and study tools for starter? Okay,
Yeah.
So if you are new in research, just start with the first session of first masterclass session, and I think yes, of course they are on YouTube of data science Data Scientist Network. Just go on YouTube and you will find all the sessions, and try to do the same thing for example, for each session. Although you are not going to be synchronized with us, but no problem, you can join from now. Start by the first session. Okay, I think that okay, you can paste the follow you can paste the link to the YouTube, okay, YouTube channel, so he can join, and you will be, because this research masterclass is for everyone, for beginners, for professionals, for everyone, so everyone can yes, for everyone can start following this. Yes.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Sophia. And I don't know if you have any questions, can you drop it in the chat section? And if you don't, I'll be waiting just 5 minutes for dropping any questions for Dr. Sophian. So, Dr. Sophian, thank you very much for this wonderful session.
Thank
Thank
you,
you for
Falaswa.
breaking
Thank you,
down this
everyone.
introduction section.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you very much. So, the links. Oh, okay. Someone has a question, Dr. Sophian. How do you know your idea is not outdated?
Of course, by doing research, by you need to go to the most known data sets, database. Okay, I cited Scopus, I cited Web of Science. Okay, just with these two, try to do research and find the related work to your ideas. Okay, and see if you find your method or not. Okay, if you find something similar, okay, for example, if you are doing an experimental protocol or something like that, so just try to compare your method, your results with their results. Okay, so if, for example, someone, for example, is, or some method is given, for example, 0.5 as an error, and your method is given, for example, 10% as error, so it's an outdated method, and all you need to do is to improve your method, okay, by adding something in order to overcome the state of the art method, or at least to approach them.
All right. I think people are already answering themselves too in the chat section. So I'll start posting the links to our various channels. Do well to join. We also have our Telegram group. There you can also communicate with other researchers and ask your questions. As a newbie, you'll be able to connect with others. So I'm coming, just give me a minute and I can start sharing the links to the various groups that we have. So thank you, Dr. Sophia, once again. Thank you once again. Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much for listening. Thank you so much.
So I'm about to drop the link to our Telegram group. So do well to join. Then for the YouTube channel, I'm coming. Give me a few minutes. The assignment, so let me post the link to the assignment. I will soon post the YouTube link, just a few seconds. I'm coming, link our YouTube channel, so our previous sessions. Methodology and results, as Dr. Sufyan already told us to do. If you have any questions, you can email him or chat with him on the Telegram. Thank you very much once again. Have a wonderful day and happy New Month to you all.